A new lethal street drug continues to cause deaths and overdoses in the Omaha area. Good afternoon, I'm Grace Bellinghausen.
Coming up, we look at the new proposed redistricting maps and why people are concerned it's dividing cultures down the middle. The Omaha News starts now.
From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by UNO School of Communication.
President Joe Biden is hunkering down at the White House today to make a deal and win over 2 holdout Democratic senators whose support is needed for this potentially historic $3.5 trillion government overhaul. With Republicans solidly opposed and no Democratic votes to spare, Biden canceled a trip to Chicago that was to focus on COVID-19 vaccinations. He wants to dig in for another day of intense negotiations with lawmakers ahead of crucial votes. The president's idea is to essentially raise taxes on corporations and the wealthy and use that money to expand government healthcare, education, and other programs, an impact that would be felt in countless American lives. Meanwhile, Senate Republicans blocked a Democratic bill that would both fund the government and raise the country's borrowing limit, escalating a political showdown over the government's finances just days before it runs out of money. Senate Democrats sought to pass a House-approved stopgap measure that funds the government through December 3rd. They are racing to send the legislation to President Biden's desk before the government current funding expires this Friday. A surge of overdoses in the Omaha metro has been linked to the drug fentanyl, a highly potent opioid which is laced in illegal drugs like cocaine. 4 police agencies in Nebraska have posted an alert to the public following a series of recent overdose deaths related to fentanyl-laced drugs. Last month, the new deadly street drug fentanyl caused 21 overdoses and 8 deaths in Lincoln and Omaha in the span of 6 days. It continues to claim more lives in the metro area.
We found out later that day that it was a Percocet that was laced with fentanyl, and it was one day that will change my life forever.
Omaha resident Taylor Reekin has been mourning the tragic loss of her friend Dul Gadid since last April.
The most amazing people I've ever met. So nice, so heartwarming. It affects everybody around me.
Fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine, even when taken in minuscule amounts. Just 1/4 of a gram is enough to cause a deadly overdose. Sergeant Dave Bianchi says both supply and demand have increased in the metro.
We have a fentanyl problem in Omaha. There is a fentanyl problem in Omaha, and it is affecting the youth. When I refer to the youth, I'm going to say 26 and younger at a much higher rate than a lot of other drugs.
The overdose reversing agent Narcan has the potential to save lives and is handed out for free at select pharmacy locations. The first step of lessening the toll the epidemic has on Omaha is spreading the knowledge of its existence and distributing overdose prevention education. Last Friday, officials made the discovery that much of the fentanyl on the street last August was stolen from a Lincoln evidence locker by an employee and redistributed. The investigation is ongoing.
Pfizer and BioNTech have submitted COVID-19 vaccine data for children ages 5 to 11 to the FDA, according to CNN. The submission is only for initial review, and they are not seeking emergency use authorization. The companies said they will submit a formal submission for EUA in the coming weeks. According to CNN, this is the first submission of vaccine data to the FDA for younger children. The vaccine is already approved for people aged over 16 and has an EUA for children aged between 12 and 15. Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, hopes the vaccines can go out by the end of October. There has been a rise in people self-medicating COVID-19 symptoms with ivermectin. Nebraska Regional Poison Center has received 30 total calls regarding ivermectin since January 2021. Ivermectin is an antiparasitic medication discovered in the 1970s. The drug targets external parasites like scabies or body lice and internal parasites like worms. There is no scientific evidence ivermectin works for COVID-19. Education Coordinator Jennifer Roda at Nebraska Regional Poison Center says it's not recommended because of the difference between human and livestock dosage amounts.
Horses and cows are much larger than humans are, and so those doses are going to be more concentrated. The active ingredients and the inactive ingredients are going to be at different concentrations that may not be appropriate for human use.
Nebraska Secretary of State Bob Evnen tested positive for COVID-19 Sunday. One day before he was supposed to announce his re-election bid, his office confirmed yesterday. A spokeswoman said Evnen is fully vaccinated and his symptoms aren't severe. Evnen was first elected in 2018, and no Democratic candidate has announced plans to challenge him this election season.
The popular video sharing website YouTube will start removing videos with any misinformation about any approved vaccine. In a statement, YouTube's global head of trust and safety says it will remove videos from users that spread misinformation about any vaccine that is confirmed to be safe and effective by health experts. It goes on to say creators who violate this decision will be subject to the website's strike policy. They say the policy change will take effect today, but will take time to fully ramp up enforcement. Since last year, YouTube says it has removed over 130,000 videos for violating their COVID-19 vaccine policy.
New evidence gathered by the International Council of Nurses suggests COVID-19 is causing mass trauma among the world's nurses. Dean of UNMC's College of Nursing, Dr. Julianne Sebastian, says the pandemic is wearing on Nebraska nurses as well. She says polarizing issues such as wearing masks and getting vaccinated add increasing pressure to caregivers. In addition to that, hospital beds are filling up because of the virus.
I definitely think that our students who will look back at this 20, 30, 40 years from now, and they'll say, well, I went through that, and I know what that was like, and here's how we managed.
Findings from ICN's recent survey suggest that the COVID-19 effect is a unique and complex form of trauma with potentially devastating consequences in both the short and long term for individual nurses and healthcare systems they work in. Officials say this trauma could trigger an exodus from the profession. Coming up, Omaha restaurants continue to struggle with an increase of business, but a lack of employees due to COVID-19. Next, citizens are concerned that newly proposed redistricting plans are going to split communities in half. We'll be back right after this.
Unique educational experience right here in Omaha. With access to top-rated programs, in-demand degrees, and a worldwide community of graduates, UNO prepares students for life, wherever it may lead. From Omaha to Italy to Uganda to Japan, Mavericks are working in communities around the globe. So where will a degree from UNO take you? UNO, access to exceptional, access to the world. Learn more at unomaha.edu.
This is the Omaha News.
Redistricting is a process that happens every decade to keep up with population changes. Reporter Mars Johnson joins us from Studio B.
One redistricting proposal wants to split up District 2 and expand Omaha's vote, leaving some Omaha residents apprehensive about the plans and don't want to see their district torn apart. Criteria for redistricting in Nebraska prohibits using partisan data and requires the preservation of the core of prior districts. Republican State Senator Lou Ann Linehan proposes to add Saunders and Sarpy County in its entirety, with a split in Douglas County for District 2. Democratic State Senator Justin Wayne proposes keeping Douglas County whole, with Bellevue in District 2 as it was in 2011. Some Omaha residents attend town halls to assess redistricting plans together. They also attend public hearings by the Nebraska Redistricting Committee to speak their mind about redistricting plans. A Black Studies and Political Science professor, Preston Love Jr., says legislative and congressional redistricting should mean keeping common cultures connected.
The harm, one of the proposals in the Nebraska redistricting that's on the table right now is to split the vote between the black and the brown vote right down the middle.
Love says there is a dire need for Omaha residents to contact their senators for a nonpartisan process. Bear Alexander says going to Omaha City Hall and pleading to elected officials is frivolous. Alexander is an organizer with the Revolutionary Action Party.
The genesis of this political sphere is exclusionary, and it was made to exclude, and it was made to keep votes downtrodden.
Alexander is a North Omaha resident who says there is an unneeded expectation for oppressed individuals to make their issues palatable for elected officials to understand. The Nebraska unicameral will have a final reading on Thursday before a final vote on all the maps. Grace, back to you.
Thanks, Mars. Omaha City Council has approved transit-oriented development zoning at 71st and Douglas. The zoning was approved with a 7-0 vote. The 4 townhomes proposed aim to bring density and accessibility to the surrounding orbit bus lines. Neighbors voiced their concerns about what the plans mean for their properties. Brent Beller, attorney for the developer, says that the townhomes will face north to maintain the neighbors' privacy. City Council member Danny Begley says the development makes sense with the Crossroads and Nebraska Medicine and Midtown projects also taking place in the city.
The Douglas County Board voted yesterday to approve a $410,000 expenditure to provide free legal assistance to low-income people facing eviction from their rental homes. According to Omaha.com, the money will come from the county's 2020 Federal Pandemic Relief Fund and will go straight to the Nebraska Volunteer Lawyers Project. The project is an effort of the Nebraska State Bar Association. Its goal is to connect volunteer attorneys with people facing eviction in Douglas County Court. 2 staff attorneys of the project will recruit volunteer lawyers to make sure that they have the necessary training and resources. With business increasing in an ongoing pandemic, restaurants are struggling to acquire staff to keep up with demand. Reporter Hannah Hazer is live to tell us how local restaurants are continuing to stay afloat.
There are 10.9 million job openings across the country, affecting restaurants in Omaha as well. This is resulting in employees having to work double shifts and multiple positions.
A reduction in staff is impacting restaurants throughout the Omaha area. The Nebraska Restaurant Association says there are a number of reasons for this, from increased unemployment benefits to employees not wanting to go back to work. One of the servers at a popular restaurant in Omaha, Corey Gaudier, says how Charleston's is handling the employee shortage.
I think that Charleston's has done so well during the worker shortage with finding employees because we have a strong culture here of just teamwork. People get along well. We've always just had a good set of people here first and foremost.
Many local restaurants reopened with limited dine-in services on May 4th, which has made people feel more comfortable with going out to eat. However, restaurant managers are still struggling to find the staff for this change. Another employee at Charleston's, Jack Ball, says that he had to work a lot harder to keep the guests happy with the service.
We definitely had a pretty big staff shortage. Over time, we've restaffed. I would say I didn't have to work more hours necessarily, but I did have to work a lot harder.
Not only did the pandemic shut everything down last year, people are also not wanting to work in restaurants again, with the hourly wage being $2.13. The manager at Javi's Tacos on 168th and Center says they are very short-staffed. She spends a lot of time interviewing people who just never show up for a second interview. It is a challenge to please customers, very few employees.
Businesses around Omaha are doing the best they can to keep up with high demand, but with the holidays coming up, they are only going to get busier. Some are even offering sign-on bonuses or higher wages to bring workers back into the workplace. Greg, back to you.
Thanks, Hannah. Nobby's, now known as Nobby's Parties, announced yesterday that they will be closing after 33 years of service. The Omaha business originated on 120th and Dodge in 1988 before moving to their current location on 120th and Center in September 1993. Gordon Watanabe, owner of Nobby's Parties, thanked their employees for their hard work and their customers for their loyal patronage. Nobby's Parties will be hosting a blowout sale starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. Store hours are Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Coming up, a local non-competitive baseball league returns to Seymour Smith Park after almost 2 years away from the Diamond. We look at the league's 12th year and what its return means for its participants. The Omaha News will be right back.
Radio isn't what your grandparents told you. It's about discovering facts from the other side of the story. But MavRadio.fm produces talent, people who can take someone's story and bring it to life.
Wind, reel, and print.
Create your next adventure and travel the world at Omaha's award-winning Henry Dorley Zoo. Explore the historic Blackstone district in Omaha, Nebraska. With over a dozen restaurants, bars, and social settings, you can experience everything the iconic district has to offer. Eat, drink, socialize, and enjoy the day or night here in Blackstone.
For me, it's about understanding the process of communication and what we learn through that process.
So something that you'll find within the School of Communication graduate program is that there is such a rich field of expertise.
I can think of no other discipline where we spend so much time focusing on not just one side of the conversation, but all sides of the conversation.
Not only do you get to work closely with other graduate students that come from all different walks of life, but you get to learn from graduate faculty that take those perspectives and help you grow yourself in a way that teaches you to be an academic, but also lets you be you in a really unique way.
I chose UNL very specifically, not just because I live here, I'm proud to represent here, but because I thought their program offered strengths that I didn't see in other programs.
This is the Omaha News.
Manny Pacquiao, the only 8-division champion in boxing history, announced his retirement on Tuesday night. According to ESPN, Pacquiao won his first title at 108 pounds and gained another title at 154 pounds. He is best known for his 2015 fight against Floyd Mayweather, dubbed as the fight of the century. His retirement comes only 3 months before his 43rd birthday and 1 month after his last match. Pacquiao is currently a sitting senator in the Philippines, according to ESPN, and recently announced his plans to run for president in the May election. Baseball fans could feel the excitement as a select group of athletes return to all-play field this fall. Reporter Jordan McAlpine shows us how the Miracle League and Buddy Baseball returns for the first time in nearly 2 years.
Baseball is for everyone has taken on a new meaning at Seymour Smith Park.
It's fun.
Home to the All-Play Miracle League, it provides those with disabilities the chance to be a part of a team and continue playing the sport they love. For Kenny Livermore, it's great to be back coaching this group of kids on fall Saturdays.
A year and a half off was a long time, and back here you just saw today and stuff what it meant for the kids.
And there's a stroke, another one right back up. The Miracle League provides kids and young adults the chance to play non-competitive games on a field that's accessible for all. There are 2 age divisions of Buddy Baseball with over 350 total players this fall. The league has been around for 12 years and usually features both a fall and summer season. However, those were both canceled in 2020 due to the pandemic. This fall was the first time these kids have gotten a chance to hit the field since 2019. It's safe to say they're happy to be back. One of those kids is Caden Bodiger, who has played in the Miracle League since he was 4 years old. The energetic catcher was all smiles with his trophy in hand. What's your favorite part about playing baseball?
My favorite, rolling around base.
For Livermore, he wouldn't want to spend his Saturdays any other way.
It's something for them to do. So a lot of them, this is all they get to do for a lot of them and stuff, you know, and it's, like I said, to see them out here, the smiles and stuff too, I mean, that's what it's about.
With this fall complete, it's another successful season at All Play. For the Omaha News, I'm Jordan McAlpine.
Livermore has a daughter with Down syndrome himself and says there's no better coaching job out there. The Miracle League starts back up in May.
Mike Bass, the NBA's Executive Vice President of Communications, announced this morning that players who do not comply with local vaccination mandates will not be paid for the games that they miss. According to ESPN, players for the New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets, and the Golden State Warriors face stricter vaccine policies because of local regulations. To enter Barclays Center, home of the Nets, you must have 1 shot. You must be fully vaccinated to enter San Francisco's Chase Center. Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving was not present at NBA Media Day on Monday due to this policy. Golden State Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins was recently denied religious exemption from the vaccine, according to the New York Times. The New York Knicks have said the whole team is vaccinated and in compliance with the local law. The NBA currently does not require vaccines for all its players. The Omaha Mavericks hockey team drops the puck for the first time this season on Saturday at Baxter Arena. The Lake Superior State Lakers come to town for 2 games this weekend. The season opener starts at 7:07 on Saturday, and the series wraps up on Sunday with a 4:07 puck drop. Tickets can be bought at the Baxter Arena box office or online at omavs.com/tickets. Coming up, the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to be fully depleted by 2035. We look at how one UNO student faces the challenge of balancing her daily life and saving up for retirement. The Omaha News will be right back.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders. A place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime.
Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it.
Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
For years, the Old Market has been a popular attraction. With its vintage atmosphere and rich history, it's a great way to spend an evening. It has niche restaurants where you can grab dinner, and unique stores you can shop at, making it an exciting place to explore. So come on down and check out the Old Market, located between 10th and 13th Streets and Farnham and Jackson Streets.
You may have heard of popular biker stereotypes saying they're all gang members, violent and reckless. The marketing coordinator for Omaha's Defiance Harley-Davidson says they put on shows that tell the public otherwise. One such event was the Hot Rods Hog Show last weekend. Defiance Harley-Davidson uses the events to raise money for nonprofits like Operation 22, a program that brings awareness to veterans struggling with PTSD and suicide.
The tenuous future of Social Security leads young people to consider their retirement plans. Reporter Crystal Quao speaks to one young adult to see what they're planning.
19-year-old Omaha resident Jennifer Sundquist says she might work until she dies because retirement for her is not realistic. Sundquist is convinced Social Security will be gone before she's 65 years old, after baby boomers use it. According to the latest research, even after a number of reforms, the system's trust fund is expected to be depleted in 2035. There is a current trend of declining birth rates. Young people are advised to save and invest, so extra pressure isn't put on the system when millennials reach the age of retirement.
At this time, if I was to save money for retirement, I would not have any money to do anything. And I don't think, going into my 20s, I don't think I should be saving all my money and taking away my youth.
Assistant Professor Eduardo Sensi from the Department of Economics at UNO says, generally, young people do not make a lot of money. However, they do have an advantage.
Suppose you're not taking that money out of your savings, those things are gaining interest rates. And that interest rates, they compound, they snowball.
Dr. Sensi says saving a little bit, even if it's starting at $100, can make a big difference in 30 years. Apart from saving, one option includes adding a 401k if an employer offers it. As money management becomes more advanced, another option is to set up diverse stock funds. For the Omaha News, I'm Crystal Kwao.
Sundquist says she would like to have a family and invest her future, but that social programs in the United States need to change. Sundquist also says she might have to move to another country with better social programs, like universal health care, to retire in. Before we go, the Omaha News would like to extend our deepest condolences to the family of Walter Scott Jr. Scott made numerous contributions to the university through the Suzanne and Walter Scott Foundation, and the entire South Campus is named in Scott's honor. His scholarship programs on campus, Scott Scholars, focuses on STEM subjects and has helped countless students go on to do bigger things. That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news and entertainment in the Heartland.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at UNO, the Omaha News, or find our website for even more news and stories at unomahanews.com.
From all of us here at UNO Television, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Lyle, calm down.
Pretend to call the game, and it's like it was a lifelong dream of mine, and now that I'm starting to fulfill that dream, it's been awesome.
With the UNO School of Communication, your dream begins today.
Unbelievable experience. I'm extremely grateful that I get to do it.
And it is so exciting to see what they can do and what they want to do.
What can you say about your Maverick team?
The deadline is now.